Mr. Chairman, members of the floor, opposition. I certainly enjoyed our colleague over here's underdog speech, which he started off with, although I have to say I'm sorry to tell him that we here have yet to win a debate, so we're the ones who typically take the underdog position. And he seemed to have a horrible aversion to us as being a mixture of giving us a hard time about being from Oxbridge and stuff like that. And I can understand the envy, him having come from Yale. But I really don't feel it's necessary to put me and us, by association, somewhere in between investment bankers and the Taliban. Now, I understand that the folks at Yale certainly don't like Walmart and what it represents, although from his speech wasn't entirely sure what the precise reasons for that would be. So it's going to be our job to explain why that American family of four struggling to make ends meet do in fact love Walmart. And we're going to continue the argument on three grounds, as started by David. One is essentially the argument of wealth creation. We could say savings, but it's really wealth creation. You know, back in the day, Walmart's principle was always that a dollar saved is a dollar earned. Today, the last 10 years certainly, we here in New York especially and across most of the country have had the problem where we've believed that a dollar borrowed is a dollar earned. We're going to go with innovation. We're going to show how the innovations introduced by Walmart is good for America. And then finally, we're going to touch upon the corporate citizen aspect and all the positive things Walmart has been doing there. So let me start, first of all, by wealth creation. A dollar saved is a dollar earned. My colleague here, the first speaker from Yale, seemed to cast ridicule on that whole concept, saying stuff, he was saying low prices, a lack of some sort of inherent good. There is not much inherent good that people really associate with when they try and work out how much is in their wallet and how much they can pay for, how much they can support their family. That is not the sort of terms they consider. Let me give you a factoid, and I know it's breaching all forms of debate tradition to actually have done some research, especially at Yale. Although I can tell you, if the Yale students want to find jobs, they're going to have to come up with a little research. There's a 2002 study by the New England Consulting Group. Listen to this will blow your mind. That Walmart saves US consumers $100 billion annually. Now think about that. The government is trying to do exactly what Walmart is doing with taxpayer money. I'm sorry, the government is trying to do what Walmart is doing, but the government is using taxpayer money. By creating savings on almost every product they offer, they put more money in people's pocket. Those people can then turn around that and use that money to invest in other things, to buy different things, to really get the economy going. $100 billion of saving annually, both directly and indirectly. The indirect measure is even harder to quantify. The indirect measure is one where Walmart, by virtue of its size and ability to aggregate purchases, is able to cause its suppliers to in turn compete for the lowest price. In terms of the social good, UBS, when they're not otherwise advising people not to pay taxes, came up with a study that they said that basic food items, as David said, are 10 to 15% less in areas where Walmart competes. Walmart does not focus on Manhattan. Yeah, sure.
Mr. Ragland, did the study comment on how far wages drop when prices drop 10 to 15% longer?
Excellent point. Let's deal with wages. I'm glad someone from Yale actually said something. Wages. The minimum wage is like 6.86, maybe around 7, just around there, right? Minimum wage. The average wage for retail stores in the retail business is about $8.60. The average Walmart hourly salary is $10.86. Walmart, by these measures, is not underpaying people who work in that business. Quite the contrary, it's actually above those different standards. So it's not a question of underpricing. The question of how much they pay for folks who are concerned about the salary, the scandal is not so much what it is that they're being paid, although they're being paid competitively. The scandal is the fact that there are so many people, unfortunately, in this country that have been failed by the American education system and are unskilled and unable to compete to have more sophisticated jobs. Let's go to innovation. Innovation, as David mentioned, constantly pushing forward new things, in-time inventories, all this sort of technical stuff which I don't really know much about. But they're on the cutting edge there anyway. In terms of being corporate citizens, and here feel free to jump in at any time you want. In terms of the environment, Walmart is in very much the forefront of pushing environmental measures in this country. They are, for example, the largest buyer of organic cotton. They introduce concentrated liquid detergent. They supply all their stores with the fluorescent light bulbs that last 75% longer, forcing GE in turn to just be producing light bulbs, the fluorescent light bulbs. Then with regard to education, medical stores, Katrina, they're all absolutely fantastic, do a wonderful job, and given that I seem to have completely persuaded my opponents, I'm going to leave you with one final factoid if I can find it. Okay, I can't find it. But I know more or less what it is. I might make it up. You guys never know. You have to trust me. Federal Reserve Bank of Minneapolis did a survey over 20 years where they studied 89 counties in their area, and they studied the Walmart effect. And their conclusion was that in every single county in which there was a Walmart store, the employment rate went up, levels of personal income went up, and taxes and general investment in the area all went up. Federal Reserve Bank of Minneapolis study. And with that, I conclude the case.